Beloved of God, may the Lord fill your minds and your heart with His peace. Today is the Thursday of the 24th week in ordinary time. And as usual, I have come your way with a daily reflection. Today we reflect on the gospel reading from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 7, verses 36 to 50. We reflect on the theme, coming out from our hideout to encounter Christ. We hear today of a Pharisee inviting Christ to a dinner, a genuine invitation with no strings attached. He had no ulterior motive to trap Jesus or anything else. It was, however, a high-profile banquet. Having heard of people speak about Jesus as a prophet, he now hosts him in his house. It was a bold invitation. Knowing the Pharisees who think of themselves as righteous, it was as if to say, I have all it takes to invite him to my house because I have nothing to hide. Unknown to him, that invitation was for Christ to heal him of his blindness of self-righteousness. It was customary for outsiders to hover around during such high-profile banquets in order for them to see the important guest and even speak to them. This explains why the woman had access to Jesus, because women were not invited to banquets. So this one was not behind closed doors. Beloved, let us pay attention to certain details. The first thing is that the name of this Pharisee was mentioned as Simon. But the woman had no name. All Luke says is a woman of the city. Instead of the name, she was tagged as a sinner. So we realize that sin has even robbed her of her identity. Another point of importance is the position the woman took. Having approached Jesus, she couldn't face him. She rather stood behind Jesus at his feet. This reminds us of the parable of the Pharisee and the publican in Luke 18, 9 to 14. The Pharisee was bold to proclaim he is righteous, but the publican wouldn't even get close, but acknowledged her sins from afar. We see here Simon comfortably hosting Christ and chatting, but this woman acknowledging her sins wouldn't even face the Lord. The woman had to come out from her hideout to seek for a new identity. She knew she was a sinner. Although her sin wasn't named, but we get the impression that she was a woman of the street. She was aware that sin has robbed her of her identity, and she was in dire need of a new identity in Christ. So she breaks the barrier of custom in order to encounter Christ. The next point of focus is that the woman knew and understood that there can be no display of love without some sort of sacrifice. That the zeal and passion alone wouldn't be enough, but that to get to know and to have a new identity, you needed to create something. It was customary for a guest to be offered water for ritual cleansing upon entering the house, but that is done by the host of the house and not a visitor. The woman now takes over the act of kindness by becoming a host. However, she was hosting Jesus not in Simon's house, but in her own heart. So what she did was hosting Jesus and attracting from Jesus something bigger than customary ritual. She wept in order to wipe the feet of Jesus with the tears, a sign of true brokenness, one in need of a new identity. The next thing was to clean Jesus' feet with her hair. Beloved, the hair of the woman in a way is her pride. However, this is the same hair she probably adorns herself with in the street to attract customers. So she now traded for love from Christ. She's now attracting a bigger client with something greater to offer, a lost identity. She later anointed the feet of Jesus with the oil. Scripture may not have given the detail, but the impression is that she emptied the entire content of that expensive oil, a greater love. The woman was giving her all as she comes out from a hideout for her lost name. And indeed, she got her identity back. Jesus, in responding to her, never called her a sinner, but that her sins are forgiven. Beloved, which identity are you chasing? Where has that sin, that addiction taken you to? Where do you find yourself in your Christian journey? Probably when you look at the mistakes, you no longer recognize yourself anymore. sin has robbed you of what you really cherished and boasted of. That gift and talent is probably gone. You no longer feel the presence of God. People see you and wonder what happened to that fire that was upon you. Beloved, come out from your hideout because Jesus has come your way. Break camp, overcome the barrier, and host him in your heart. Let him know your weakness. Admit that you are a man in search of a new identity. Beloved, be willing to trade that pride of yours, that hair you have adorned for so long. So long as you host the Lord, let him know that you are genuinely broken and give him your all, your alabaster flask. The journey of self-discovery is recognizing our unworthiness to even approach the throne. But God, who looks at the heart, will also reach out for us. You cannot waste time chasing after what sin has robbed you of. But you can expose yourself to be seen by Christ in order for him to bestow upon you an identity bigger than the former. Beloved, start the journey now. I bring you greetings from the valley of prayer and silence, and have a spirit-filled day favored of Yahweh.